Hey guys, it's been a while since the last voiceover. Actually, I did skip last month. Actually, last term. I only did one voiceover last month. And, you know, I was, I just needed a little break and I didn't think that I could, pull through narrating one of my painting process. Last month was, a little difficult for me. I was trying to keep it together in a way, artistically, I mean. So I did take 3 days break and that actually helped quite a bit. So yes, we are back this month with a new voiceover. So as you can see, I already kind of went ahead and did like the rough base. I always cover this part in my other voiceover processes. So I thought I'd just skip it, make things a little faster, and to put together the idea that I have in my head. So I haven't painted Jinx in years. I painted her when she first came out and the year after. So she's probably like my favorite. I always play her. Well, I try to always play her if I can. It was her and Lux. They were my two go-tos back when I used to play quite a bit. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that I can paint her again. It's a good opportunity since they did release a League series called Arcane on Netflix, and so far it's really great. I love the story is great. If you play League of Legends, you'll kind of recognize a lot of the characters. But anyhow, redoing her again, and so I'm going for like this interesting lighting that I wanna kind of do similar to some of her the scenes in the show, which is kind of darkish with very intense lighting. So that's what I'm aiming for, and I'm gonna try my best here to make this come to life. So yeah, let's keep going. Background. Oh my god, the background. Yes, I have a lot of stuff for the background, like just a bunch of filters, uh, together with like, uh, effects and stuff, edits, brightness, contrast, and all that. A lot of filters with photo mashing. And still, I don't think this is the final background, but it is kind of similar to how I want it to be. The floor needs to be fixed. The perspective is a little strange. It will be fixed. But in general, I am aiming for this vibe. I want to have like a mostly blue tone in the background with some intense pops of a warm color like this. And I will probably be playing on that as well. Same for the character. As you can see, the base I did is pretty reminiscent of that. So we have, let me just fill this in. What is this? This, oh, okay, here we go. I just have to fill this in. Yes, the skin is a pop of warm tone intensity in lighting, and the rest of her is kind of in the shadow. And I have a bit of a blue rim light on the side just to balance it out. And you kind of see this theme a lot in the show, like mostly dark, very moody, dark scene with pops of highlight and intense lighting, which is, I just find that really pretty and I'm gonna put it in my art. So this is obviously might take quite scantily because I will be adding on clothing afterwards. That's kind of how I like it. I like to paint nowadays because, it's kind of fun to paint like clothing articles on them after you paint like the smexy version of them. So yeah, let's get started. I've already got the guide and stuff, and I do have some interesting reference, because you know how it's kind of hard for me. It's been a struggle to paint like more slender types of female bodies because I'm so used to drawing thick. So here's the first reference. So yeah, I'm taking the inspiration from her top for Jinx's top because her new top is kind of like a halter top, but you know, I kind of want to show a bit more skin, so it's gonna have some missing areas in the center here. But yes, other than that, let's go ahead lessen our liner so we can focus on this. So let's go ahead, start blending that in with the airbrush. The airbrush it could be your friend or it could be your enemy, really. And sometimes it likes to do things you don't want it, but gotta find the perfect balance of sharpness and softness at the same time. So I'm gonna paint the armpit. You know what? After observing armpits, just looking at reference photo and my own armpits, there's a lot of detail in the armpits. Not just like a smooth line. There's like some creases here and there. And you know what? If I didn't like purposely look up reference for armpit, I probably wouldn't have even noticed those small little armpit details, you know? Just like everything else, like how your arm folds, male and female, the deformation is very different. I wanna see if I can find like a really good color scheme for her. I mean, this shot here is kind of reminiscent of slightly of what I'm looking to do, combined with, let's see, I'm just looking at in the show reference. There's this other shot that I really like. So yeah, these two combined, let's say. This is the vibe I'm going for. So yes, I shall keep those ideas in mind, in particular for her. And I've been trying to draw fairly, slim. So not a lot of cleavage, not a lot of thickness in the legs either. And coming from someone who draws a lot of thick, it's kind of like a different approach, let's just say. And I will be taking a bit of liberties on her outfit. Yeah, I kind of messed up on the what's it called? Where her hair compared to her tattoos are. I wanted to put it on this side because her tattoo lines up with the direction of her bangs. But then I would have to flip this composition, and I kind of like how it's facing. So that's what happens when you don't pay attention to like direction of the character, like their and the arm with tattoos also does not have too much coverage, maybe just a bit. So let's say maybe around here. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna use a bit more of a duller grayed out shadow with a hint of intense red shadow. I mean, yes, red shadow. And probably gonna have a sharp shadow around this area. And we're gonna go ahead, add a bit of highlight. Okay, now I have to get a nice look at her arm gear design. Well, doesn't look too complicated. It's just like Just a simple wrap. Could probably use a bit more detail, probably add some straps on there, but let's just go ahead and do that. Oh, I should probably paint the hand on a separate layer. Cut. If I put the hand on a separate layer, it'll be easier to manage that way. So let's go ahead and do a little fast render here. It's kind of looking like it doesn't make too much sense. I want a finger to go here. Oh wait, she's wearing gloves. What am I doing? Ah, there, that makes more sense. Alright, I will take care of that later. Let's go ahead. Gonna remove the lines. So for the brow, I'm gonna add some highlight and shadow. It's I still kind of really like her old design with her brow like having some interesting stitch patterns. I wonder how I'm gonna do it. Okay. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right? You know what? Let me go ahead and do this first. Make it slightly shiny around this area. The lighting in that area is warm tone, so let's keep it a warm tone for the most part. Add some tiny little shine. Blend that out. Take this color. And I'm just going to slowly add some rim light underneath. God, it's so hard to paint small chest because I guess you could say it requires a bit more anatomical knowledge because you're just basically painting the how do you say this? Tight against the skin. There's not much roundness that you can add there to hide the anatomy. Such a weird way of saying it, but yeah. Let's add some highlight up here. Well, this will be interesting for sure. I don't think a lot of people will be expecting this, but hey, Jinx is actually one of my favorite. I'm terrible at playing Ari, but I do love her design. She's my favorite aesthetic, but Jinx, I like playing her. Along with Lux, like those two are my go-tos. Let's go ahead, add some details on the brow. Oh gosh, okay, let's start by slowly painting in the details for her chest. And you know what, for the most part it's gonna be kind of trying to keep as flat as I can. We can add a little bit of highlight here. Maybe just a tiny bit of cleavage, because she does have a little bit, but it's not that crazy compared to characters I paint often, the type. But she does have a bit. Can I add a tiny bit of shadow to emphasize a tiny bit of cleavage? Keep the shadow fairly dark. This part is too subtle. Okay, is this flat enough? Let's take, there's a lot of colors that I put on her chest, but let's take this color. Let's gradually sculpt out the ribcage and stuff. Because since, you know, she doesn't have a lot of cleavage to hide those rib cages. She is quite thin too, so gonna emphasize her slimness. Oh, and let's paint her belly button. She is kind of at an angle. It's not too much of an angle, but it's a little bit of angle. Alright, take this color. Bring it here. And, she wears shorts in the original design. Not the arcane one, but the OG. This will be her undie. I think Jinx looks quite good in black. But her theme is purple with stripes. Purple, pink with stripes for clothing wise. Or actually pink to match her eyes. So I'll just go ahead and do a quick undie. Basic black undie. Let's go ahead and do the little leg. Shadow first. Actually, not shadow. I probably need to add some highlight. For the highlight, let's go with this color. It's like a dull yellowish type color. Still, I want to try keeping everything dark. Especially with like more realistic skin tones. I mean, rendering. If there's not like a intense sunlight source, you know, oftentimes the skin tone is quite dull. A lot of yellow, yellow, blue, and green undertones. Alright, let's paint the crotch. I've painted so many crotch, it definitely helps to paint a lot of crotches. Because before, you know, I remember reading someone say, oh my god, well, that was back then when I just first started doing Not Safe for Work. People were complaining about how, well, they have the right, but I wasn't that great at the hidden female anatomy. And they were saying how can she not know? Because she's female, she should know. Well, I was inexperienced. I don't really look at myself down there, you know? Like, so even if you're a female artist, you can be not that great at the female anatomy if you don't have reference or if you don't practice too much. But yeah, there's a lot of detail down there. For guys, it's pretty simple, but oh boy. Female anatomy down there is quite complex. But yes, after, you know, doing a lot of research and looking at a lot of naked ladies, I've become a little bit better at painting crotch areas. And this probably have a strong tendon in this area, usually when you spread your legs open. Ah, gotta hit those tendons, the leg tendons, and that slight butt contouring. As for this type of view, there's a bit of highlight here, followed by some shadow around the leg area, but not too much. It's very subtle. And then you have, perhaps you get like a bit of a strong line here. I'm just gonna contour very, very lightly with the airbrush, and you get like a tiny definition for the butt too around this area. Oh, maybe I should be looking at a reference for this part. But this is just based on from what I remember. Let's see. Alright, time to flip, because it's always good to flip it, because then you can kind of get an idea of, okay, what am I doing wrong? Get a fresh new perspective by flipping canvas. Actually, it's not too bad. It's getting there. But for sure, I think the body can be better. So, for her legging, I'm thinking I really want to keep it black, but I do know that her theme is more of like a hot pink slash purple. Maybe I give her that on this leg with a darker rim around it. Gotta keep that anatomy though. Just make sure to line it up with the rest of her anatomy. And as for here, get a little armpit shadow around that area. And on this side, the rim light, let's go with like a, let's go with a, like a light blue. Finish it up with some warm tones. And then finish it off with a bit of rim light. Probably gonna change that later anyways, but yes, this is the base for it. And she, yeah, she's got a strap. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, I see, okay. Okay, so she does have straps. Some strap, neck, choker. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. But yeah, I was kind of surprised at some of the screenshots for the series. Actually, her chest is not as small as I thought it would be. I thought it would be completely flat, but there is some, I'd say maybe about like a to B. But yes, I'm used to painting way bigger than that, so I shall try my best to keep it under that. Mm, okay, that seems around there. And under the armpit, let's add a bit more shadow. And add some shadow around the silhouette since she is lounging on a couch, and I was going to make the couch super dirty looking. like grungy looking. Uh, but I don't want Jinx to be laying on a dirty couch. But, you know, she's the type to not really care about that. She's got too much issues based on the series. Oh, it was so sad. But it's good. It's very good. I love it. Alright, so I'm just slowly painting out the anatomy and stuff. I think while I'm at it, I'm gonna create a new layer because I wanna experiment a little. Let's kind of dull out some of this highlighted area. I don't want it to be too bright, you know, kind of like too dodged out. The dodge tool, which is, for me, I think that's kind of like if you don't use it right, it's just another cheap way to create highlight. Sometimes it's good, but other times if you don't use it correctly, it looks a bit too much. So I'm trying to see if I can do something about that. I like the color here. If we go ahead and kind of select it, you can see it's quite blue. So I'm wondering, maybe this is gonna, this type of highlight gonna need for the surrounding skin tone to be a little, I would say, let's take this color right here. We'll just use it as it is, like this. It, it needs the surrounding area to be just a bit more, how do you say this? Less colorful. Less warm tone. More cool tone, less warm tone. And I don't know if this is too much now. Okay, well, that's a lot to think on. But the main focus for the intenseness of the lighting will be, I'm gonna focus it around this area. So the leg area, yes, it has a bit of highlight, but we're gonna go ahead and let's use a gray and kind of make sure the leg itself is not too much in the highlight. So gonna keep most of the area in shadow so that the area that's gonna have the nice highlight will pop more. Oh gosh, my old enemy, the knee. Well, there's the knee and the feet, my old enemies. The knee is so complicated sometimes. Because you have to remember the bones are, or the knee joints are a little bit more complicated than you would think. But yes, I'm going to quickly paint out the knee joint. Let's just go ahead and do that. Add a bit of rim light from the lighting. And this is going to be boot. So the boot, the best way to handle stuff like the boot, because you know it's kind of detailed. It's all, I'm gonna look for a photo reference and basically just paint over it. Kind of use it to establish a base or paint over it. Another way is for you to kind of do like a rough sketch of what it looks like and then use the photo as texture. So two ways of using textures. Probably need to spend some time with this, but I do know her boots will be chunky. I will make sure of that. Let me go ahead and darken that up. But yeah, still I shall keep her leg looking like sticks, guys. Because I also have the tendency to make the leg area a little too thick as well. Well, thicker. So gotta watch out for that every time I work on her. I have to keep in mind, don't make her too thick now. And as you refine the character, sometimes, you unconsciously paint them one way that you're used to. So yeah, keeping the leg thin, or the thinnest that I can manage. Ooh, sometimes I can go a little overboard too, so gotta watch that too. So yeah, this is what we have. I have the arm on the other side. Let me just, oh, whoa. Color correct that arm to oh, to match. There. More like here. I want her arm to hold her. I don't know if you can hold your leg like that, but so the other arm will, she's gonna have most of that arm covered. I mean, what can I do here? I could, maybe she could hold her leg or something. Can I do that? Well, that look weird. Let me just do a real quick, like, what if I added fingers here? Will that look, okay, that's not too bad, but I guess it might be a little strange. I will probably need to have the arm be like this. No. Let's go back to the original arm. But yes, it's coming along. It's coming along. So basically what I plan to do is do this a few more times. Render out the torso body. Adjust the lighting a few more times. Refine it after, maybe like three more times like this. And then it will produce the result that I seek, hopefully. So this is kind of close to this, kind of. Like, especially this part. This is the lighting that I'm looking for, in particular. I'm just wondering, should I make this whole elbowing shadow? Well, these are the type of stuff I think about when I paint. How should I change the lighting for it to look better? Well, this is kind of like I'm gonna do a rough look of. Oh no, I don't think that will work. Uh, maybe I'll just do this. Have the shadow go this way instead. Yeah, I think that works better. Yeah, I think that works better. Take that color from the reference and I will be recycling it. I think that should do. Hopefully this, ooh, I kind of like a bit of blue in there. Let's blur that out a bit, blend it out using our trusty smudge tool, which is a great way to blend in a fast way. Okay. I mean, it definitely looks, I like this a little bit more than what I had. This type of shadow on the arm area. Definitely needs a bit more refining, but yes, this is this is good-ish. Let's merge down now. So this is, oh yeah, this is the sketch I wanted to show you guys. So yeah, this took a while. 3 passes on the sketch. Was trying to figure out, like, I want her chest to be like arched upwards. So I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna draw the boobs, cause you know it's not the usual. Uh, it's not the usual size that I paint, so it was a little difficult. Cause I have to constantly think, don't make them too big. Alright, so this is gonna be our second step, and we shall be back for another 30 minutes of recording. I'm gonna do just a bit of work and we will be back. Hey guys, welcome back. So, I worked on her a little. I gathered a bit more reference, as you can see, just so I can have a better idea of how I'm gonna design her outfit close to a combination for old design and the arcane design. And also worked on the sofa a bit. As you can see, it's a bit more texture to it and stuff. So it was, I think I left it off there. And this is the second pass and the third pass. Actually, I kind of like the face on this path. I also worked on her skin as well. Let me just do another step. And yes, trying my best to keep her fairly slim and flat. And not too thick, of course. I worked on the hand slightly, modified it, brought it up, and the face, I worked on it. Still not completely happy with. Of course, the face probably needs to be worked on quite a bit. Worked on the hair a bit, as well as I did a rough outline of the braids. The braids are actually quite tedious to do. I'm not a fan of repetition, painting repetition and stuff, so especially when it comes to braids, it's kind of like, ooh, I'm not looking forward to that kind of deal. So yeah. Alright, so let us start. I'm actually more used to painting from the right to the left. I did end up flipping her because I worked on her quite a bit from that angle and I flipped her. Oh yes, I also decided to change the angle of her arm. Probably needs to be a bit longer. But yes. So let us tackle the torso first. So I'm thinking a bit of this on her uh, on her bra design with a bit of this design too. And oh my goodness, the reference is a little far away for that. So what I'm gonna do is, copy. I'm just gonna bring those two parts over real close so I can stare at them while I work on this. That is my preferred way of painting sometimes because I just want to have the reference right in my face so I won't ever forget it. And let's stick with, I'm gonna borrow some of that color palette that is in the reference, and we're gonna stick with non-shiny material because I've done a lot of that recently. So let's switch it up. I'm gonna make this side with that, what's it called, diamond pattern, like in her original design, which I'm a big fan of this pattern. I like it in a lot of You know, just if I were to design something, I would put this type of pattern in the clothing. It just feels more regal. Has a certain elegance to this type of pattern. Alright, so you know what? It kind of looks probably doesn't look as good on this type of shape as uh, on her. Actually, you know what? Maybe we can do that too. I'm just going to maybe I can have that broad design on this side. After I do that, you know, she is a little more bustier than her in the arcane than in her original concept, which, you know, there's hardly anything there, but here you can see there's a bit of cleavage. I'm gonna do something in between, and then for the small, to call this area, seam area, I'm going to borrow from this design, which is, it's not too complicated, just some detailing for the straps. Then she has this type of design, which I don't think I can put just yet. Let's go here. And just going to kind of replicate this design. And here, I want to replicate it in her neck collar. Well, it won't be the same design, but I like to at least leave a bit of impression of the original design in there, even if I do change it up a bit. Okay. Well, I can't really see what's going on here. That's why I also... Oh wait, no, I don't. Oh no. Well, I can kind of have a guess at what that looks like. Oh well. Well, it looks like there's some gold trimming detail, which I'll start by simply marking out the gold design, and the rest of it will be, rest of the detail will be added later. As I do this, I'm going to also start by adding seam details. So adding this tiny bit of detail will just help sell the volume or the thickness of the garment, which to me is important because I like it when the garment looks like it's got some volume instead of a thin piece of paper, which if we don't do this step, it will kind of look like that, look more thinner and less fabric-like. It's just that additional detail that I sometimes like to add in there, you know? Alrighty, so this is what we have. Could probably use a bit more work on here, so let's go ahead, apply a bit of highlight. So this is the general highlight that I'm gonna go for. just go ahead and paint that out. Well, it doesn't exactly fit this. I think, yeah, I'm not really into the way I render this out. Perhaps it needs more contrast. Let's go ahead and do that. A lot of times I will work on something and it just doesn't seem right after you're done with it, you know? The initial idea of it might seem at first a good idea, and once you add in a bit more detail, then it starts not feeling as good as it was when it was, more rougher concept. That's also kind of a thing that I think was spoken a lot about while I was working at um, as a concept artist. They were like, oh yes, the silhouetting phase, which is basically like a black and white silhouette that you would do and use like a white color and kind of just scribble on a bunch of shapes, and which leaves the brain to come up with many ideas. Like everybody will have a different idea because it's so vague. And once you solidify that idea, sometimes you'll lose, the concept of possibilities that could be if you just left it vague like that. So that's kind of what's happening. A lot of times it's like that. Maybe I should kind of not make everything so refined, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just so used to doing it this way. And also, some comments that probably shouldn't be lingering in my mind still do. Like, it was not a good idea of me to search out like just negative comments about me on the internet. I used to do that a while ago. But yeah, one of those comments kind of stuck with me, and it's kind of hard to get rid of those comments, but they were saying how my art was kind of super rough and I don't even put that much work into it anymore. So after I read that comment, that was years ago, ever since then, I tried my best to kind of refine my pieces and make sure that it's as clean as possible, right? Ah, man. But yeah, ever since then, I was like, maybe I shouldn't go out and look for trouble. I'm not gonna look out those comments anymore. Uh, I tried to, I tried to be nice and talk to them nicely, but that didn't really do nothing. I thought that if I was nice, then the hate, uh, the people that were negative about me will understand, or that was a bad idea. But yeah, ever since then, I stopped looking for trouble. But that is one of the lingering comments that resulted in me always trying to chase, kind of over refine sometimes even my pieces. I'm not even sure, maybe it might be overdone sometimes. But yeah, I also have a lot of these, doubtful moments as an artist. I think most artists do. But negative comments definitely get to, I would say, most artists, even though we don't want to admit it. And yeah, recently I've been feeling a little kind of lost as well. Um, kind of not sure where to go with my style because I feel like a change needs to be made, but I'm not quite sure what yet. And it's leaving me a little lost in a way artistically. And yeah, So maybe, you know what, instead of making everything shiny, let's keep it matte. We'll try that, you know. Alright, so bra is kind of done. Still need to put in this type of detail. I'm not sure where. I mean, perhaps we could add it on the side. Maybe like here. Let's try it out. A lot of times we have to give it a try in order to see if it will work out. Actually, it doesn't look half bad over on this side. I mean, oftentimes I just want to have a bit of the original design in there. And on top of that, I want to see uh, what I can do about this. What do I do to cover it up? This part, right? Because in the arcane design, she's not wearing bikini anymore. Ah, which the original design was so good. I loved it. It was so nice. I think I was super excited about Jinx being released. Other than Ari, you know, she was my original favorite. And then Jinx was released, and I was super in love with the design. It was great. I'm glad at least they kept most of her original appearance. Actually, this actually might work. Might just work. I shall keep this as a separate layer. Call it chest cover. Alright. Alright, so we got the little area here on the chest. It's just a cute little stitch design on her top. And, well, I'm playing around with the design, so I'm gonna have it on the side here. A bit of asymmetry never hurts anybody. In fact, asymmetry is a good design element in a lot of cases. Probably not commonly using more sci-fi designs because sci-fi, you want to keep it sleek and symmetrical. But when it comes to casual slash fantasy theme, asymmetry is actually praised. That's at least that's what my what's it called senior concept artist was saying. It's very interesting. A lot of the knowledge I have comes from my time working uh, in game company. So I just take that knowledge for the most part. I mean, I always like to do like a fun little take on characters. Let's see. Now we gotta add the shiny bits. Man, if I stream this on YouTube, I'd definitely get banned. Okie dokie. So we got the little thingy going. March down. I wonder how it would look if I also had it on the other side. So I'm just gonna duplicate that real quick. And maybe even flip it. I just wanna see how, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I don't know if it actually enhances the design on this side either. Let's convert the color, add a bit of blue. that fits a bit better. So let's merge down. Alright, let's work on the rest here. So I'll be rendering out the rest of her bra. Let's give more volume to the strap. It's slightly like brownish. Oh well, that's yeah, just a little bit of a brown tint, but it's still mostly black toned. Or maybe that's the lighting that I'm looking at that's making it look brown. Okay. Let's go ahead, render her top out. Make make her make her skin squish against the strap. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna add a bit of shadow in some of these areas. Feels a bit too smooth for me now. Before I used to want to make everything smooth, but now I wanna I want to make the skin smooth, but at the same time, I need it to have a bit of skin texture too. And also armpits now became a bit more complicated. Because, I mean, if I look at my own armpit, or if you look at your own armpit, there's so much crease in there. That's not just a simple, smooth, smooth armpit. It's got a lot of wrinkles and details. Just some things I started noticing after a while. After you just paint a lot of characters, then you're just looking for more ways to improve, right? And, yes, armpit wrinkles, next level. Let's go ahead and add some shadow underneath the strap elements. Add a tiny bit of shine on top. I'm gonna add a bit more volume up here. I'm gonna go here and add a bit of highlight. And in general, just kind of refine around. Okay. Let's have a look, see. Okay. Okay. This design will be on the side, and that design, the tattoo's gonna be on this side. And I'm just kind of looking back and forth. So she doesn't have the strap, but I'm putting it there anyways, because hey, just having that extra little detail, that won't hurt. Alright, now let's put the metallic, yellow metallic belt thingy. I don't know, what is it called anyways? Belt, forgot what it's called. What is it called? Oh no. Okay. I feel like I should know this. But yes. Add a bit of thickness. Oh, add a bit of thickness. And go back in. Add a bit of shadow from the arm. Oh, whoop. Let's go use the good old pour brush that I've neglected for so long. poor brush, it needs to have a certain setting now. It has to be random, like this. Add a bit of skin texture. Because recently I've been trying to explore some more skin texture options. I'm no longer satisfied with just airbrushing. I really want to add skin textures and stuff. You know, the more you paint, the more you're kind of like not satisfied. Am I the only one that feels this way? I always feel after a while of you know, sticking with a technique, I usually get antsy. I wanna see what else I can do, you know? Let's blur this out a bit. Don't want the texture to be too overwhelming. Okay, so we got that done. Now onto her neck strap. So it's not gonna be similar to the arcane design, but I just want to have the same kind of silhouette. How will it look? One more extra. Oh, that might be too much. And bring down her head a bit. But yeah, I'm trying to keep Jinx lanky and flat. That's her signature look. Hmm. I'm gonna paint in a bit of neck tendon. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I feel like this would look good on her choker. Let's see. Ooh. I was thinking of giving her like a grenade. What's it called? The the grenade thing that you pull necklace. Instead of a bullet necklace, it would be that, and she could be having like a few uh like biting one in her mouth or something. That's very Jinx. Oh yes, and another thing about, you know, just casual concept art is, well, not casual, but concept art is repetition is always good. Repetition of design element like this. Small things, big things. That's also something that was preached to me by one of the more experienced senior concept artists. He's like, repetition is good. You wanna put some of the similar elements within the design for cohesion. Yep. Let's go ahead and add some details, some seam details. Clean that up. I don't know, maybe her neck looks too long, but I kind of want her to have a super long neck. Let's merge everything down. Work on the neck a bit more. I'm just adding just that leathery sheen to the strap. Merge down. Alright, next we're gonna work on this part. Alrighty. I already kinda started with her rib cage and stuff, but I feel like there's still something missing. I'm gonna try to add some varieties of tones first, such as blue, a bit of green. Those are just kind of ways to neutral out super highlight that's a bit too monochromatic. It's not dynamic enough in a way. Let's casually, or not casually, softly highlight the rib cage, because you know how skinny she is. Oh, poor Jinx. Her story in the Arcane series on Netflix is kind of sad. Oh, she got messed up. But then again, kids' minds are very impressionable, and it's pretty easy to mess them up. Oh, there. Um, let's give Drinks like a little mole here, or some spots, you know? Go take the speckle brush. Oh, hold on. Speckle brush. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Create a new layer, and I'm just gonna kind of just sprinkle it on throughout. Yeah, and another thing, oh, it's kind of a random topic, but actually, this should be good. Just a tiny bit. And you can even warp the texture a bit. Alright, that should do it. Shall we keep going? So we'll go on to the belly button now. Belly button is also another thing that's kind of, if you think about it, it shouldn't be too difficult because it's just a crevice. But it's actually really complicated if you look at it. It's like the ear. It's got crevices, highlights. Well, I'm painting it in a less detailed way, but I've seen some artists paint belly buttons quite detailed. Yes, it's just one of those areas that you think on the human body that you think is simple, but it's actually quite, it's a little bit more complicated than it looks to draw. And there's so many styles of belly buttons too. And male belly buttons and female belly buttons are also different, interesting enough. I think I was told that after I drew a male character and someone said that the belly button that I drew was a female belly button, and I was like, what? So I looked it up, and yes, it's true. I think guy belly button tends to be more horizontal, and female more vertical. Pretty interesting. I hope I'm not BSing. I hope I'm not. But that's at least how I think because of someone's comment, and then I went and looked it up, and the source I looked up said that. So yeah. I think. Wait, does Jinx have a belly button ring? I don't think she does, but she definitely looks like she would have one. I mean, it wouldn't be like out of character for her to have one, you know? Okay, as for her undie, I'm going to Oh, okay, let's look at her. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, she's wearing shorts in that. I will add shorts on her for sure. But I'm going to give her a undie for now, and we shall clothe her very soon. Alright guys, welcome back. Alright, so I flipped the piece, did a bit of work on the face, refined the arm area right here, didn't really touch the fingers, also cleaned up this arm, so you can kind of see what I'm going for a bit more clearly. I also moved up the pelvis a bit, made the whole character a little bigger as well. So let me see if I can, it's before, after. I guess you can't really tell too much. Anyhow, shall we continue on with the underwear area and the leg area? Okay. I'm just kind of looking at her her design here. Alright, so for the undie, for the basic undie, the top half will be transparent, and it's gonna have the pinstripe pattern similar to her original design. And also gonna put a little stitching here. Basically, I'm trying to add in elements from her other outfit, but in a smaller design for her for her undie. Let's go ahead and do a little O-ring here. Do some studs around. Simple black undie. There we go. I'm just going to softly blend it out. And we're gonna paint the crotch area. So the crotch is actually also one of those areas, like you have an idea of what it looks like, but it's actually a little more complicated than your imagination. But yeah, there's certain tendon that goes and connects from the genitalia area into the leg area. And there's a bit of highlight here. And add a bit of pinky tone. And accentuate the shadow from the leg. I'm gonna add highlight around here. Slowly transition into shadow around here. Uh, but the most important part, this part needs to have a clear indication of changing, how do you say this? Like direction, basically. This part. So I'm trying to basically follow through on the shadow area. Painting the leg. So I'm having, well, I am painting in some shadow or highlight or rim light actually underneath the crotch area. Some rim light. So there is this part shadow and this part missing highlight. I'm just going to clean this part up. Let's take a bit of this color. It's a little brighter, which is what we want. And I'll just take a bit of this color right here, a little brighter yet again. Trying to brighten up this area. Darken that part. And basically go back and clean up. Do more of a cleanup of that part. Clean up the other part of the booty. And as well as the leg. So before, after. Just resume cleaning up. And I'm just going to see how it would look with darker color on the side. Makes the leg look a little thinner. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Alright, onto this part. So I'm going to make this, change the silhouette a bit. I think this way it makes her leg look a bit more stick-like. Let's go here. Darken. I'm gonna clean up this side now. So we're just going to pretty much do Similar cleanup on this side. Slowly but surely I'm sculpting out the silhouettes, or chopping at it to make it more like the way I want. Let's go for like a pink. Actually, maybe like a, no, it needs to be more of a purplish pink. Yes. Merge down. Now onto this leg. So I'm going to just render this out a bit. Paint the tendon of the leg. Should probably... I want her to have her knees bent, so let me redirect. Oh. Something like that, but yeah. Kind of feels bent. Let me redo that. Oh, actually not too sure. Her original design, this was much higher. Bring it up, 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 up. I'm just gonna bring that up. And just gonna continue shading the leg. Probably should blend this out a bit. Alright guys, welcome back. So, yes, I did a pretty major change. So, I thought about it and I was thinking how I wasn't really into the composition as much as I thought I did when I first started it. And as I put in more detail, solidified the piece a bit more, I realized I didn't like it as much, so I decided to change it up. So, simple enough, well, I don't know about how simple it is, but I basically cut this leg and I flipped it. Before it was like this. So I cut it and I flipped it, and I also added a bit more to it. And also I flipped I tilted the composition as well. So that's what I did. So this is before, after. Uh, you know what? I'm still a little unsure, but I think I'm 50% sure I like this better. And sometimes you just need 50% because I know that I wasn't really into what I had before. So I'm just rotating it to see how it looks flipped. Well, I feel like if I zoom out, perhaps this composition flows a little better than what I had before, which was the leg like this. Actually, I don't know. I kind of like that too. Oh no. Well, now I'm indecisive again. Uh, oh my goodness. Maybe if I... Maybe if I had the leg... I'm just, don't mind me, I'm just testing out how it would look in a few different possible poses. Uh, but so far I kind of like that a bit more. Also, I've been testing out like to see how it would look if I basically had her bangs down this side instead. I might actually end up doing this. Uh, uh, I'm not sure. Uh, so yeah, very indecisive. I'm very, very indecisive. Uh, this is like one of my, I guess, worst qualities. You know how it is. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, for now, I think what I will do is I'm going to render this out, at least for now. So what I'll do is I'm gonna modify the hips to accommodate the new changes. Like this. And I will have the leg on a separate layer, just for convenience, you know, because I feel like I have a feeling that I'm probably gonna change it again, so having it on a different layer will help with editing, making it easier to edit and switch around and play around with it. At least now I can draw a proper booty right smack on the couch, like making pretty good contact too. At least I have that. The background will now also need to be worked on. This reminds me of the good old days. I used to edit, well, let's just say change my mind quite often. A lot more so in the past. Now it has returned. Oh, habits die hard. I'm gonna have to bring up the hip a bit more. But maybe I'll be able to create a uh, nice contact with the couch with her booty. And also I will need to redo how this is wrapped around her leg. Uh, Maybe something like that. I'm going to rotate the canvas real quick and work on the knees. So, but first, I'm going to add a bit of a cooler tone on top, and towards the bottom we shall have more of the warmer tone. And just moving it around a bit. This whole area probably, let's go darken. I'm just going to darken this area. This whole area is going to be darkened up since the lighting will now mostly hit her booty instead of the front side of the leg. Since we changed the direction of the leg, many things will be changed, like the lighting for the leg and stuff like that. I'm gonna highlight her legs. If I cannot have a busty chest, then I shall have a sculpted bottom. Or at least I will try to, within reason if it works. Let's go with this. Add the shadow here. Nice subtle shadow. Of the leggings. I'm going to also try to, kind of make it a little more translucent because it is more of a sheer stocking that the look that I'm going for. Oh goodness, yeah, the shape is a little wonky. Start by adding in the shape for the legs. Oh, not the shape, but the kneecap. Oh my gosh. Okay, lock it down. You'll have this muscle, and then kneecap 1 and 2. And bring it down. So yeah, it's a little messy, but gradually we can kind of blend it out. Gonna take a bit of highlight. I'm just adding in the other anatomical landmarks of the leg. Hopefully it works out. Sometimes it doesn't always look good if you put in all that uh, detail. Maybe I'll ease up on it a bit later. create a new layer. I wanna see if I can add a bit more shadow around this area. Feels like this whole part needs to be reworked a bit. Like for example, the hip area, this part, needs to, the highlight, need to bring it up. Let's also consider the underwear strap. Raise it up a bit. Bring this shadow up. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that looks a little better. And basically, I have to redo some of these shadings. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe the underwear here will also need to be readjusted. And need to add a bit more shadow around here. I'm gonna ease up on the shadow there. Maybe even reduce the, oh, I'm gonna use the liquify tool to do that. Need to make this a little less protruding, a bit thinner. Oh, like that. Merge down. Yeah, something like that. And I'm gonna briefly, let me check Jinx boots here. Let's see. Oh, it's actually a little bit lower. I mean, it's a little bit more, yes, lower around this area. I'm going to just roughly fill the shape in, and that's pretty much her feet. And let's check the original design. She's got leather strap wrapped right here at the base of the legging. So we're gonna just do that. I still wanna have some of the original. Sorry about that. Yes. Still want the original design to show through. It's gonna be like a mix of the old and the new. I might even mess things up a little. Ooh. ahead and add a bit of shine. There. Rotate. Rotate that. Alright, I did some more changes. So I did rotate this leg a bit more too, because I wanted to basically see if it would look better if I changed a little bit of the direction, and I think I do kind of like it like this. Also rotated Jinx a little to tilted her a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff I need to go back and fix because now I edited it, so I have to go back and repaint some of the details. So yeah. So what I'll do is I'll do a bit of a pass. I'm gonna basically fix some of these areas since I did end up changing a lot of it, and I will be back. But as you can see, sometimes I just end up changing a lot. Sometimes I hit the mark from the start and I'm happy with it all the way to the end, but most of the time it's kind of like this. I change it around quite often. So yeah, so we went from this to this, and if I just like bring the composition really small, zoom out, this composition does look a little better than this one. It flows a little better too, so yes, we will probably go with this. And I will see you guys in a bit. Well, for you guys it will be a bit. For me, it'll probably be a few hours. So I will see you guys soon. Hey guys, welcome back. So I went ahead and refined it a bit. As you can see, uh, this part I filled in the gaps and whatnot. The shading slightly changed up. Um, so this was what I had before, like this, and this is what I did. And to be honest, I'm not sure. Maybe the chest should be a little bit higher. Uh, but yeah, I did kind of made the torso a little bit shorter. Uh, I did bring the legs in as well. I refined the couch a bit, added this monkey toy thingy. Pretty much took a monkey plush and I just made the eyes glow to fit the theme. Hopefully it's not a distraction. I'm basically just trying to see how it will look because I wanted to try to fill out the background a bit more. And also worked on the face a bit, widen her eyes a bit as well, increase the intensity of the lighting in the highlighted areas, and also I brought down the boots. Since in the reference that I'm going to be using, her boots are kind of low on her legs, so that's the reason for that change. Oh, well, put it here. So yeah, shall we continue? Hopefully I am doing this properly, hopefully. Alright, so I wanted to continue this area, so I did go ahead kind of refine the leg part here and trying my best to keep her legs stick-like. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the boots on this layer. And for that, what I'll do, I want to get a good, nice old look. Nice look at the boots. So I'm just gonna move the reference all the way down here so we can have a proper look at what's happening here. It's kind of like a pirate-ish, pirate style boot. And for the lace, what I'm gonna do for the lace is just use a photo texture for it. But before that, usually it's best to get a bit of the rendering done for the shoes. Sometimes it's better to do a bit of work before you apply the texture. And as for her boot, there's like a metallic grill, and one of it is a different color. This one, however, is gold. And there's so much detail in the design. Let's see. This one's silver, this one's gold. So I'm gonna try to replicate that. I'm just gonna paint out the snout of the boot. Trying to go for that arched look. Since I kind of do want to make her boot seem like a bit of a high heel boot, so her feet will be arched. You know what? Let's go ahead and borrow some of that color. Some pattern. I'm just cleaning up the heel. The heel, classic black. Boot heel. I guess you probably won't be able to see too much in general because of how dark the piece is. But we gotta hit those high points. Okay, I think I see like, probably won't draw this part, but I'm gonna for sure do this part. Shade that out. Clean up the rest of the silhouette. And her boots got some straps attached. Take a bit of that. Just quickly kind of imply the strap with the stud. Let's take this highlight and take a bit of the highlight color. I'm also gonna use it to highlight the what's it called, the boot. Alright, so mostly got the details done for the boot, more or less. So that's what that looks like. Could probably use a bit more shading, so I'm gonna select these areas. How come it's not working? That's strange. There we go. Make them a little bit brighter. So with this bit of highlight, it will help with forming the shape of the boot. Back to the metallic. Oh, that's a punch. I mean, that's half a punch. It kind of looks like half the Riot logo. Onto the metal grill. So for the metal grill, I'm mostly just kind of contouring the shape of it with a brighter color. It just makes it look like rough metallic texture. Let's go ahead and make the shape a bit bigger. Alright, let's bring it down. Next up, let's continue to add some of those details. I'm just shading it or cleaning it up, even though when you zoom in it's not that clean, but if you zoom out it should do the trick. Alright, next up, second attempt at giving the boot seam. Let's go ahead and use a more yellow base color. There. I'll just continue on here. Alrighty, so we have our boot. So now the only part that I'm going to do now is re-add in back the highlight I had going on before. Copy that section. Make it a little brighter, add a bit of pinky tone to match the environment she's in. So something similar to this. There. And so now what I'll do is look for a texture for the boot because we have the majority of it, the main shape done roughly. It's not the most refined thing, but as long as you get, a fairly good amount of details added in. Uh, Moving on to the texture phase will help with painting it further, because then after you add the texture, you can do a little more paint over for that to kind of blend everything in. So I shall be back, guys. I'm gonna look for a suitable texture for this. Alrighty, I think this is somewhat close to what I'm looking for. But first, we gotta get rid of that background. There. And I'm gonna take all of that, copy all of that, and apply it to the boot. Actually, it fits pretty well off first glance. So now I warp it to the place that is needed. And after, adjust the color accordingly to the environment. Need to kind of delete some of these areas. But for the most part, it is in a good spot where I needed it exactly. Let's go ahead and do that. Then adjust the color further. And once we adjust the color, I'm going to take the same stitches and do the rest of the detailing for her boot, which is that. And further paint over some of these areas with the with the proper detail for the shoes. If it doesn't fit, we're gonna make it fit in one way or another. So this is what we have. Of course, if you look close, you'll kind of see like, oh, there's like some weird things going on, but far away, you can hardly tell. That's the beauty of using textures. Let me add some shadow. There. Merge down. So we have the boots almost ready. We could probably spend some time refining and whatnot if you want to. I mean, if you choose to. I'm just going to add some more rim light on the side. And we could go ahead and add like a really, really bright, oh, that might be a bit too much. I'll just do this. Do something like that. Clean up the silhouette. Merge down, and that is done. So in the original, she's wearing pants, but I barely draw female characters with pants these days. So we're gonna stick with good old stockings and shorts, just like her original concept. So I am gonna go ahead and give her, the leg band, like the original concept, like I did here. Get a bit of highlight going, not too much. Add a bit of a rim light around, especially in this area where her knee is basically facing the bright neon light. So we're just gonna take the opportunity to highlight that knee. Probably here too. Could use a bit of a shadow from the boot onto the leg. And I'm painting this on a separate layer because, you know, never know if it will work out or not. Sometimes you need to try it out. Using a combination of airbrush, basically. Well, mostly airbrush, because that's the only way we're gonna get a nice, smooth transition. But at the same time, we don't want to overdo it and make it overly airbrush looking, because then it'll be too much. So we need to find the right balance, and sometimes you go back and erase some of the areas you just worked on too, in order to create a good balance of soft shading and not so soft shading. Okay, so I guess I'm just kind of painting this whole area for the leg darker shadow like this. Yeah, that works. Sometimes you just have to try it out with these things. Like I could have kept it a bit brighter, but in the end I think it does look a little better that way. I'm going to create a bit of a dent in the flesh where the band is kind of tightly wrapped around there. Next up, this area. Making it smooth. So this is what we have by slightly altering the lid shading a bit. And you can kind of just judge for yourself. Well, in my case, I'm gonna say that I do like it more like this. Next up, this area where the leg is pressed firmly against, yes, that leg firmly pressed against the thighs. So we're gonna have shadow here. Let's get a bit of highlight here, invert. Add a bit of shadow. Actually, no, highlight is better. Is it? Hard to say. Hard to say. It is in my nature to be indecisive, so yeah. It's not very easy with me. I just don't make it easy on myself because I'm like, does it look better before or after? I can't decide. Okay. Okay, let's just merge down. I feel like I should be looking at a very detailed knee right about now to get like a really good reference for the knee. When I get indecisive, I just think maybe there's something that's not right. Maybe I don't feel, I don't think, or actually, I depend on my gut feeling a lot. Maybe I don't feel like this is properly painted. Work on that knee a bit more. Let me just sculpt this away or remove that part. Now that that's done, let's merge down. So that part is cleaned up, this part is cleaned up. Uh, the boot is a little bit lopsided now that I look at it. Well, it's actually, hold on. I think what I'll do is I'm going to take this part, move it over a bit, like that. Yes, I think that should do it. That should do it. And blend in this leg. I'm gonna extend the shadow up. There. Alrighty. So that's what we have for that. What should I do next? Okay, so well, there's quite a bit of detail to be done, like especially the belts. Actually, and the hands and stuff. The hands and stuff. Okay. Well, those are smaller areas that I can take care of. So, let's see, what should I do next? I'm gonna fix this arm or refine this arm. So I have the base going. All we're gonna do now is basically just refine it and make changes to it that feels needed. So this side is corresponding to here. It's kind of fun to see the elements that they kept from the original design in the arcane design, such as this area right here, although it's not exactly the same, just similar. And that's kind of how I like to do my pieces as well. I like to take the design but modify it slightly. Well, probably not slightly, but yes, it's always fun to see like if we can play around with the design, you know, make it fit the image that you have in your mind, the vibe you have in there. Add a bit of those belt holes. Let's go ahead and add the metal hooks or metal embellishments. That's done. Okay, there's a few wrapping details for the fabric on her arm. And then one more belt here. There's like fabric wrapped around the mid part of her arm too. Let's go here. Now I'm going to work on this arm warmer that I see here. Let's go ahead and wrap that nicely on her arm. She's got like really strong arms. Well, it's probably just a 3D model, but Okay, let's go ahead and darken that part. That's gonna be our base for the strap for the belt. And for the belts, I think I will be adding a bit more shine to them just to differentiate them from the rest of the black fabric that's wrapped around her. Okay. Alright, so time to add that bit of shine around the belt hoop holes. I'm always like thinking, don't say dirty words, don't say dirty words. Well, depending what age you are, I guess, but I don't think you guys are that young either, so should be safe. My content's not for, kids now. It used to be debatable, but now it's definitely not. Hmm. Okay, I think that should do it. Next, I'm going to add the stripes to her arm warmer. Actually, the stripes are a bit more frequent, so I gotta include a few more. That's not too bad. Last thing that I would like to do is basically I'm gonna create a more intense rim light around the arm. Trying to make her arm pop out a bit more. Even though yes, it does look separate, but a bit more separation would work quite well. Ooh, look at all that. Look at all that raggediness. That needs to be cleaned up. Ooh. Alright, so for the hand, I wanted her to make the pistol sign. So we're gonna work on that next. Welcome back, guys. Alright, a bit more work has been done, especially on the background and on the braids. So I did refine the braids and the background a bit more. The braids, some areas still need some work, but I did spend some time on it. And also worked on the arm slightly. I put a bit of this color as rim light for the arm on this side. So yeah, let's continue where we left off with this arm. There we go. Just grabbing a reference for that. First thing that I will do after basically doing a rough base like this is just slowly but surely clean the silhouette up. And after that, I'm going to kind of add some basic warm tones, some slight shadow, maybe a bit of blue in there, and a bit of pink as well. Gonna use the lasso tool to help me separate these fingers. And these two, I'm just going to separate them. So Jinx in the series, she's got some interesting nail color, which is, oh, more apparent over here. So it's basically, okay, so basically starts up with blue, then purple here, and blue here, and then purple again here, followed by purple. I mean, blue. Purple was here. Oh, okay. Maybe I need some sleep. Okay. One thing about just, you know, doing your own thing is that sleep schedule is quite erratic, so yeah. Alrighty, so I got the basic silhouette, some rough shadow and highlight. Let's have a look, see here. Okay. I'm just gonna have a tiny impression of the sleeve, then followed by the gloves that I'm gonna go ahead and roughly sketch out. So this is the hand. I'm just going to duplicate that once because some of the hand parts of it was kind of transparent. So there we have it, the hand. I'm going to add some rim light. The rim light will be just a little bit more intense. Let's go ahead, add some highlights on that area, although I'm not sure if I should add too much of it. Let me have a look, see here. It seems alright. I think it's doable. Just gonna clean this part up. And that should do it. Alrighty. Alright, so basically that hand is fairly done. I'm just gonna leave it. So now I'm going to be working on her belt. So gradually we're gonna start clothing her up a bit more. Alrighty, so I'm just checking. Okay, so generally rough shape of the belt. Oh, probably needs to be, okay, I will need to fix the positioning for the belt, but the rough shape can do something like that. Let me just warp it upwards. Oops. Just gonna do a pretty rough blocking of what I'll be doing for that. So something like that. I'm just going to use a bit of that highlight. So one belt here, and she does have like two small belts hanging. Actually, maybe I can do it like this way. Kind of almost like garter belt almost. Trying to see like how it would look if I reposition the belts and stuff. I think I'll just keep it here. So that's the belt, and then I'm gonna have, hold on, trying to kind of mark out where the shorts are gonna be. So maybe something similar to this. Maybe somewhat like that. And then we have, just gonna cover her chest up. I'm trying to think if I can do maybe for here. It could be like garter belt, a garter belt, and this attach, attached to here. Something like that. Let me remove the shorts real roughly. Go back to the belt. Okay. The chest cover and then the shorts. And also roughly I wanted to put what's it called, the fishnets like in the old Jinx design, the OG Jinx design. I just want to kind of see like what kind of vibe that gives. So that leaves this leg, which it's not supposed to be covered by like leggings or anything, but what can we do with it? I'm gonna try to see how it would look. Just kind of want to see if this legging has pinstripes. Like, how would that look? I don't think I'm a fan of that style. But maybe this legging also can have fishnets. Let's see real quick how that looks like. This is the phase where I'm kind of just checking, okay, what works, what doesn't work. Maybe for this leg, or this leg, we'll just stick with the good old-fashioned skin tone. Maybe we'll just have that like this. Oh, I think it looks better with it. Let me just lessen this up, merge down, just make the legging a bit more translucent. Okay. Maybe what's throwing me off is her tattoo, so I shall go look for her. Maybe they got like a convenient Jinx tattoo. Jinx tattoo stencil or something. Alright, I got a reference for the tattoo, so I'm just going to create a new layer. And let's get started with... I'm just gonna reference off of the concept art. Or actually, should I use the reference? Trying to find like a good reference for it. Alrighty. So I'm just going to line it first. Basically, basing it off of the original splash art and just following basically how that looks. And I'll do another one here. And she does seem to have, I don't even know how the nude is gonna work. Well, let me just stick to this side, but she does have like a fairly big amount of tattoos around this area. Let me move this. Oh no, this has to go over the leg, so I'm gonna have to bring that over. Let me just check real quick. Hmm. So there's quite a bit of tattoo down here. Something like that. And then you've got like the bullets. I'm just going to, actually I'll just use the same color for the bullets. So there's one here, one that's here, and one up here. Does she have any? I'm trying to see if she's got any like near her booty area. She has one around this area, roughly, and then one right here. So now, roughly mark where the bullets are. Lower the opacity. Let me try multiply. Make the color a little bit brighter. Outline. This is the outline. And then we'll do slight shading inside here. So just going to add some pigment in here. It's a little rough over the place, and I'm just going to blur it out as I go. Just going to cover the roughly on pretty much on top of the line art. So this would be considered step 2 because we're gonna have to integrate the tattoo a little more afterwards with some skin textures, because if not, I think it won't blend in as well. Next is the bullets. There. Pretty rough. Alright, so now onto the outlines. I'm going to slowly refine it a bit because some of the outlines, you know, it's a little blobby. So I'm attempting to refine it slightly. Or kind of just make the line a bit thinner. Let me just cut, cut, cut. Lasso, lasso, lasso. Cut, cut, cut. Just it also helps create a bit of variety in the thickness of the lines, which I think makes the tattoo look better. After I do that, I think I can maybe add some extra detail to the lines, but I'm not sure if it will look good or not. Let me just... Ooh, I don't know about this. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it simple like that. Back to down here. Oh, hold on. Just gonna do that down here. There. And I'm gonna try something. Another thing that I like to do to line work usually when it's not a character, like a design, I go into medium and just test it out. Because sometimes it does create some very interesting results. There. Alright, so the bad part about it is that it does kinda make some of the thinner lines look non-existent. So you have to go back and re-put that in. Let's go back to here to fill in the color. So this part is just gonna be pretty much manual, kind of coloring book method. Fill that in, add a bit of shadow around here. Right now the tattoo is still quite flat looking on her. Let me just... Oh, that might be a bit too dark. Let's do it like this. I'll just softly erase bits of it. And here, that might be a bit too dark as well. Onto this part. Last but not least, on her hip area. There. Let's go make this multiply. Bring up the color. Ooh, that's very vibrant. Just keep it like that. So there we have it. The tattoo is done. Now I'm gonna put a leer mask over it so that I can clean up the surrounding areas of the tattoo. Hold on. There. Oh. I have the tattoo on a separate layer just in case I have to modify it. It will make it a lot easier to modify this way. So roughly I got her tattoo in. Now put the clothes over it. Looks like she needs more tattoo around this area. Let me have a look. Yeah, she definitely needs a bit more tattoo work, or even the tattoo needs to be a lot darker. I think I need to add an additional one right here. Yes, this one needs to be more visible, so I'm just going to bring it out. Bring it out and then reconstruct Go back to here. And then fill it in. There. Hopefully that does it. Although I'm not particularly into the design so far. I'm gonna try to play around with the placement for the belt and whatnot, so maybe I'll bring it down like this or tilt it downward. And I just want to see, should I give her pants? Just want to see how that would look. Oh, whoa. Okay. Although her pants are kind of under her. That was what I originally had in mind. Well, it's not the worst, but I definitely... Oh wait, hold on. Her pants. I forgot her pants are not full length. It's kind of cuts off at the ankles. Oh, whoops. I can settle for shorts, but oh, I don't know if it'll actually work. But yeah, something like that. These are my clothing choices. Let me just flip it, see what it looks like. Hopefully it still works. Yes, it does, but needs a lot of modification and stuff. Also, the tattoo. Not really, I'm just kind of observing quietly. What can I do? That sort of, that sort of thing. Maybe I should make the chest a little bit higher. Going to liquefy and just kind of move it up, up. Might be a bit too up. Okay, let's do that again. Just a little bit up, but not too up. Okay, I think that should be okay. Welcome back, guys. Did a bit more rendering. Kind of changed up the background a bit. There's a bunch of new additional textures in there, including screenshots from the show used as just some colors. Just wanted to see what I could do with it, basically, because I wasn't really into the background. But yeah, there's a lot going on, quite a bit. And I did refine Jinx a bit, but the clothes I left it pretty rough, so we're gonna refine that. I did go ahead and add a bit of fishnet texture, kind of like her OG design. The ponytail has been refined a bit, still kind of rough around some areas, but I had changed it up a few times, and I kept them. Yeah, changed it up a few times, and yeah. Still not really sure if I like it. And as for the face, I did also end up kind of playing around with it a bit too. So original face, kind of slightly newer face, and then pretty much went back to the old face, kind of overlaid on top of the new face. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I was testing out here. So yeah, I have to decide on which version I like, but basically there was a lot of like back and forth going on, and that probably took a few hours. Um, I refined the tattoos a little bit, basically cleaned it up and stuff. So yeah, let's start with the clothing. The shorts, I had roughly refined it, and this is basically what I came up with. Just gonna start refining this side first. Should probably bring this flap over a bit. Just going to blend that out. Change the direction of the seam. Trying to make the crotch a little flatter. Otherwise, it'll look like she's got a tiny package. So, yep, just reduce that amount. Blend the rest of this out, and I'm gonna use the lasso tool to help me create the shape of the inner fabric. Add a bit of shadow. Blend that. Blend the cooler tone in. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Not really doing it too clean, just kind of trying to create a bit of texture, rougher texture. Add some shadow. Just gonna blend this out, maybe even add a bit of highlight to the tip of the inner fabric. Just try to create a bit more contrast between the pinkish shorts and this part. Alright, so now it's fairly cleaned up. Now I'm going to start by adding some stripe pattern. Maybe like this. Copy paste, darken that up. There. So roughly that's the lines. Merge down. I'm going to go in here and basically add a bit more of the cooler tones. Just blend the rest out. Alright, so the shorts are kinda done now. Onto this. So this is like a straps, not really belts, but straps. First, clean it up. Match it as close as possible to the shape that I want and try to make the shape contour her legs and whatnot. Now lock in the silhouette. And just kind of start by working on the straps. Increase the highlight color and highlight some of these areas. Just going to add shadow. Add shadow and highlight to the seams. Roughly, so this is what we have. I'm going to just increase the contrast real quick, making it a lot darker. And once I do that, going back in again with a slightly brighter color and re-add or re-highlight some of the seam details. Just take that same highlight color, bring it down here. go back here and highlight it a bit. Let's go onto the side and add a bit of highlight. Just gonna add a few tiny stud details. Alright, so that is done. Should probably, oh, actually, I'm gonna add these little details in too. This is not exactly sticking to the official design, but it will be. I'm gonna try to kind of just borrow some of the elements from it. So at least it will remind you of it in some way. Let me go back up, have a look. Let me go ahead and do this. Do real quick, gonna paint a buckle down here. Add the shadow. Add a bit of shadow, it's quite rough, but you probably won't be able to notice unless you zoom in. So we can get away with small details like that. Alrighty, so I'm just kind of scrolling back and forth, checking like if I could add any other details. Strap. Belt. So last but not least, we got the bigger belt. I'm gonna try to see, try to play around with the positioning for the belt. This will have to be brought back a bit more. The main buckle is around here, and then the rest of the buckle. Oops. And last but not least, a bit of covering for the chest. Chest cover. So this is purely just like a little, pretty much sensor, because, you know, social media has been getting really strict lately. So I've been trying to cover up my pieces a bit more. I'm just cleaning up the shape for now, and then we shall add some more, start shading it up a bit more, add some more details and stuff. Alright, so this is what we got for the chest cover. Lock that down, toggle on and off. I'm just looking back and forth at pretty much what the lighting is like on the skin tone and replicating it on the sensor part. Let's add a bit more highlight and shadow around. Alright, so that is done. Now gonna add back in a bit of shadow around this area. I'm just kind of looking at the lighting and the shadow. Gonna try to see if I can replicate that again on here. Not sure if it'll work, so create another layer. Alright, so one here, one grommet here, one here, and one here. Okay. This part needs to be a lot bigger. Let me shade it, make it a little darker. Does that work? I'm just kind of thinking to myself, does that work? Or perhaps I need to move it around a bit? Okay, I think I'll just leave it like that. Keep it like that. Yeah, why not? I think I'll keep it like that. Alright, back to the belt. Just gonna grab this down here, move it real close to the belt I'm gonna be working on. And we're gonna focus on this belt here. So basic shape first. Gotta basically refine it up, start sketching out the details a bit cleaner. And next for the belt, add in the details. There is a flap over here. And last but not least, the rest of the belt. So I'm gonna use the lasso tool real quick just to help me establish, hold on, let's go here, establish some definite highlight. Add some shadow on the side. And next up on here, let me just darken this part. And I'm just going to kind of use that reference as a guide. So there's a bend in the cross here. Like that. So the center is flat. And the rest has a bit of a turn. Alrighty, so after cleaning that up, next bit of detail, each side has small grommet. Add a bit of shadow afterwards. Let me just extend this down a bit. Alrighty, so now time to add in the spikies. The spikies. So one here, one here. Oh. Probably not going to be as visible, but just having a bit of that silhouette there helps with the details. Add a tiny amount of highlight. And this part at the end of this part of the belt, there's golden trim. Didn't really notice, but looking at the reference closer, I can tell. Alrighty, so there we have it. This is slightly more refined. So this phase could be repeated a few times until you're satisfied with the level of cleanness or refinedness. I mean, I think you can leave it at this level if you want. Usually I probably refine this a bit more. But yeah, this is what it is. There. So now we have the bikini version and the version that's more covered up. Although I think it's probably more revealing compared to the original design. Also, she does have some bandage on her knee, so I'm just going to add it in. It doesn't really show here, but it should be on this side. And on that side, she's not really wearing stocking, but I like the look of stocking, so I did add that in, but I also want to add this in. Let's make it subtle. Add a bit more cool tone onto the band-aid as well. Let me lower the opacity. I want this to be a bit more subtle. Add a bit of shadow. Merge down. Alrighty, that should do it. And finish it up with my edit, which is a bunch of filter applied on top of the character. Darken it up, brighten up some of the areas I want it to be a lot brighter. Also, I added a blue color filter in certain areas just to blend better with the background. So yeah, something like that. Oh. So now the only issue I have really is kind of with the face. I'm not really feeling it. But the rest of the character is fairly okay. So yeah, this is what we got. In reality, a lot of experimenting did go into this piece because I tried different stuff and not everything makes it to the end. So another thing I did was overlay. Overlay with some of these arcane magic effects taken from the series. And let's see. Yes, this was also taken from the series. Just using them as textures and stuff and effects. Bullets, kind of a tribute to her like original video release. Pretty cool. Hopefully all works out. I mean, it's pretty colorful. But yes, that's what I did. Spent some time on it, kind of just experimenting and stuff. Alright, we got one more areas that we need to tackle. Is the hair. It needs to be refined a bit more. Alright, let's get started with refining the side of the braid. Braids are kind of one of those repetitive things that repetitive element of a character that, you know, it's either you like to paint those type of stuff or you don't really like to do it. It's tedious and yeah, this is kind of tedious. But at least I've already done pretty much the basic shape. All that I'm going to be doing now is just to clean up the shape and refining it. Using the lasso tool, I'm going to be cleaning up this area. So the tattoo needs to be cleaned up. At the same time, go back to the hair layer. Gonna have some small bit of highlight in some of these areas. Add some shadow there so that the highlight itself will stand out more. Okay, let me go over here a bit, or I guess here, add a bit of skin tone. Back to Working on the ponytail. Also, I have to kind of change the shape a bit. Next, while I'm at it, clean it up as well. Gonna take this color. And just gonna try to blend this part of the hair with this part. These are in separate layers. That's why I was kind of like, ooh, this is gonna be tricky. After that, go back in, clean it up. Let me take this, take that, and basically try to make the flow a little better. Oh, need to bring this up a bit more. Make the braid flow a little better. Oh, whoops. I deleted it by accident. Now what I'll do is just gonna copy those areas, brighten them. And basically redo some of the shading or the highlight and shadow. Just gonna keep the blending. Keep the blending. Nah, just keep blending and also refining. Could use a slightly darker color to help me just kind of paint the outlines a bit more. Let's go here. Okay, that looks a little better. Let me reduce that a bit. Alrighty, I'm gonna start using the lasso tool to just blend some of these areas in a bit cleaner. Alright, I cleaned that up. Now going back. Going back to also clean this area. So this part is just a little bit cleaner. Could use more detail for sure. I'm just gonna grab parts of this. Let's kind of make it a little darker. Make it a little darker. Go here a bit. Just gonna continue blending in, except this time adding some rim light. Before, after, gonna just erase a bit of here, merge down. Okay, so that's what we have for here. Same for this area, just gonna blend a bit of this in. But not too much. Should be okay for the most part. Now onto the rest of the braids, which as you can see needs quite a bit of work. But we're gonna try to cheat a little or make this a little bit easier by reusing what I just painted from the braid above, and just basically use it like this. Merge down. Let me delete the braids here. Warp it a little bit. Maybe bring some parts up a bit. Gonna take just this part, make it a little bit thicker. Darken that up. So to create a bit of a turn, go back to the initial hair, the upper braid, and we're just going to reuse that. Go back to this layer. Clean the areas up a bit. Oh, hold on. Rotate that a bit. Rotated the hair so that it kind of match what I have going on this side. Next, let's clean up this braid. Now that it's more or less clean. Huh, what is that right here? That's strange. Is it part of the couch? Hold on. Oh no, it's part of this. I'm gonna have to try to find where where did that come from? Okay, it's the tattoos. Let me just delete that real quick. Go back to the braids. Take this. I'm just going to warp it to contour the curvature of the couch. Gonna darken that area first. Then it's gonna let's say have this area just a tad brighter. Go back in, of course, to blend in the new color change. And then I'm going to lower the opacity just a bit. Go back to this one, and we'll do the same. Copy. Brighten it up. Merge down. Back to the braids on this side. Take away the brightness over there. Same with here. Go back, add back the shadow. And I'm gonna redo the lighting a bit here. So let's see, all this area is gonna be brighter. After I do that, go back to each of the braid intersections and clean it up. Probably need to have it a bit darker around some of these areas. Just gonna keep refining this area until until I'm happy with it, basically. So we're just gonna keep at it. Well, let's say around here should be good. Just going to, oh wait, hold on. Why is it not doing anything? Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna darken it. Darken that up. Keep blending this area. Or leave it. It really depends on how refined do you want it, really. Let's merge down now. Lock it in. Take a bit of the environmental color. And, oh, maybe it won't work as well. Maybe this much. Let's take a bit of this color, the purple color. Add it as a rim light to the braids down below. Alright, now again, I think I will, actually what I can do is go into hue saturation, increase the saturation. There. Alright, that should do it. Probably should bring this up a bit. So that side is good to go. Onto this side, which doesn't require too much editing because it's not as messy as the other one, but this side of the braid needs more adjusting. Oh, yeah, this braid needs more adjusting. So take the whole braid, brighten it up, turn up the saturation, and make it a little bit more on the purplish tint just to match what's going on basically. Let's take this color. Actually, what I'll do is take that, brighten that up a bit more. And basically paint that, merge down. Hopefully that should do it. I'll tone this down a bit. Okay, so now it's a little clearer. Trying to match the braid to the background was a little difficult, so I just turned down the filter for the background so the braid won't look too much out of place here. Alright, now I'm just trying to find this little spot here. Delete. There we go. Alrighty, so that should do it. The braids are fairly done. Turn on the lighting filter. Might be a bit too blue in some areas, especially the face. remove a bit of that, put the overlay on, and voila, this is the final result of this. Final thoughts are I could use a bit more work actually. I'm not fully satisfied with it, but I've been working on this for quite a while, and sometimes you just have to let things go. Let me just tilt the pants a bit. So yeah, sometimes gotta let things go, so I will let this go for now. hopefully I'll hopefully I'll be able to create something that I'm satisfied with next time. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Definitely different than what I usually paint, so yeah, not too bad. Alright, I will see you guys in the next voiceover. See you guys later. Take care.